Lecture 9. Clarifying confusing material using follow-up questions. Have you ever read something 3 times and still thought, wait, what does that actually mean? You're not alone, and that's exactly what today's lecture is about. Even with a smarter tool like Notebook LM, not every answer will land perfectly on the first try. But here's the good news. You can keep asking. When you follow up with smarter, more targeted questions, you turn vague or confusing information into real understanding. Objectives of the lecture. By the end of this lecture, you will be able to identify when an answer needs clarification or simplification. Use effective follow-up questions to dig deeper into confusing content. Apply follow-up techniques that lead to clearer insights and stronger learning. Why clarification matters. Learning doesn't happen all at once. Sometimes an answer almost makes sense, but not quite. That's your cue to follow up. In Notebook LM, the way you respond to unclear or partial answers is key to how much you get out of the tool. A good follow-up question helps you refine, simplify, or reframe the original explanation. 3 types of helpful follow-up questions. Let's look at 3 common strategies you can use right inside Notebook LM. For example, you just upload a document in here and create new, upload a source. And for example, you just choose this one as global climate change, its consequences and way forward. So you can just open this file. First of all, you just ask it a question in here as, can you explain the term climate change in simpler terms, and press enter. So here you can see we have a response in the simpler terms for climate change, and you can just overview all that, and you can just type in here as, can you rephrase that for someone new to the topic, and press enter. So here you can see it has been rephrased and in simple terms as well, so that the person who is new to the topic can understand that completely. You have to go through all of these points as it has summarized this using this article. And it has explained the term climate change that has been used in this entire document, so that you will have to go through all of these points if you want to know all of that. This is especially helpful when you're working with academic text or complex theories. You're not dumbing it down, you're clearing the fog. Ask for examples. If the concept feels abstract or theoretical, examples can make it real. For that, you can just type in here as, can you give an example of what that means in practice, and press enter. And here you can see it has explained in practical and everyday life as well. So you can just go through all of that. It's about carbon dioxide and deforestation, electricity. So it's all about that has been happening in our daily life as well. And you can follow up with the question as, is there a case study or real life scenario that illustrates climate change, and press enter. So here you can see regional warming and melting ice, extreme weather events, and impacts on ecosystem or wildlife, human health and societal consequences, and all of these are happening at global level. Examples give you something to hold on to, especially in subjects like sociology, history, or business. Ask for comparisons or breakdowns. When something still feels too big to grasp, break it apart. For example, you can ask questions like, what's the difference between X and Y? Can you break this into steps? How does this relate to what I uploaded last week? You are giving Notebook LM cues on how to help you, not just what to say. A sample scenario. Let's say you ask in here as, summarize this paper on climate change in 2 paragraphs and press enter. So here you can see, here's a summary of the entire article in 2 paragraphs. As this article has a lot of stats and percentages, so it has to mention all of those. That's why the paragraphs are a little too long. You're thinking, okay, but what does that look like? Try a follow-up like this. You can just jump to bottom and start typing here as, can you give an example of anthropogenic from this paper, and press enter. So here are the examples of anthropogenic as fuel combustion, aerosols, cement industry, land use changes, and cattle breeding. These are human activities that contribute to climate change. And you can follow up with the question as, what does irrigation, deforestation, and agriculture mean in this context, and press enter. So here you can see you have all the explanations about irrigation, deforestation, and agriculture as well. You can follow up with, can you explain each term in 1 or 2 sentences, and press enter. That's how you move from surface understanding to actual clarity. Asking a follow-up question is not a sign that you didn't understand. It's a proof that you want to understand. The more you practice refining your questions, the more control you gain over your learning process. Notebook LM can do a lot, but your curiosity is what turns information into insight. So ask again and again. That's how clarity happens.